At times, we invoke the Nigerian Constitution to defend the popular demonstrations. Many a times, the people are said to be endowed with the right to protest against bad governance. But the people and the security agencies must be wary of the bad eggs. The bad eggs are not after good governance, but to protect their heinous activities. The bad eggs oppose the government, not because they genuinely want good governance, but because they are unrepentant, that even when there are pockets of positive changes in governance, these bad eggs would remain in their bad ways. They see the government as stifling their activities, condemnable activities. That's why they await and help to instigate the best moment, like the nationwide protest, in order to unleash vengeance. The bad eggs are also enemies of the people. I could tag them non-state oppressors of the people. They oppress the people not because of bad governance or corruption. Otherwise, there will not be any high incidence of gun violence in the United States. But they oppress the people because they have made up their minds to be ruffians and hooligans. But now, who are the bad eggs? They are the terrorists and suicide bombers who are prepared to die as long as hundreds of people would die too. The recent events in Borno State, where a female suicide bomber, let off a bomb, is still fresh in our minds. And the security agencies and the protesters in the north must be cautious of this. The bad eggs are also the kidnappers, armed robbers, assailants, and thugs who are already bracing up to spark violence so that they can loot weapons and ammunition of security agencies. During the NSAS, for example, a scenario played out where after the police had fled, thugs and louts looted their weapons and burned down the police stations at several places. In the southeast alone, the horrible implications of these events were suffered by the people, the genuine NSAS protesters. In 2021 and 2022, the reign of terror and extreme brutality that visited the southeast was catalyzed by the looting of the country's armory during the NSAS. So, when the security agencies ask the people to provide certain information regarding the protest, they are not entirely wrong because they know that any hijack of the protest by the miscreants will negatively affect the government, but subsequently will harm the people. If the security agencies have vowed to desist from squashing the protest, they must also ensure that they exercise composure and wisdom even when elements of aggression are detected among genuine protesters. But the people must also act with circumspection, cutting themselves loose from the bad eggs. Those who qualify to launch a protest are those with sincerity of purpose, those who are convinced that protest is not an end, but a means to an end. Those who are much aware that their right to protest should not encroach on others' right who choose not to protest. A content creator or skit maker, for example, may be passionate about the protest because he knows that any hijack of the protest may not affect his source of livelihood. In contrast, a wheelbarrow pusher may be worried about the protest because he knows that should it becomes violent and enduring, he may lose all hope on life and either commit suicide or join the cult of hooligans in the streets. So, protesters must guide against such scenarios and know that the days of rage is a rage against bad governance. That's why the demonstration is entitled End Bad Governance Protest, clearly showing that the people are protesting against issues of hunger, poverty, and corruption, not merely against the people in government. On the part of the government itself, it must see this protest as a test by the people to evaluate their commitment towards democracy and human rights. That's why it is called pro-test, meaning civil supporters of test, to check the actions and policies of government. Therefore, security agencies of government must respect the sanctity of civil demonstrations and protect against the bad eggs. Thank you very much. I am Toshukwu Raphael Ogwabaka, speaking for Diaspora Digital Media.